Summertime is here, and I'm sure people are going to be going outside more, spending more time, in nature as the weather is permissible. What are some safety tips that you would recommend?
Yeah, so if you're out with your family, individuals that you are normally with that are healthy, not high risk vulnerable populations, obviously being out is healthy for all of us. Running, walking, attending large crowds is really the thing you want to stay away from. So if you're going to the beach, that's great. We still recommend very strongly keeping a very healthy distance. At the beach, it's very easy to get 10, 20, even 30 feet away from other individuals. So I think there's common sense ways to enjoy the outdoors without having to be in close proximity, which is the risk point. If you are going to be attending an activity or something, everyone should be masking if you're within 6 feet.
And so since the summertime includes a lot more sunlight, obviously, what are your recommendations on protecting skin, staying hydrated, and things like that?
Yeah, so all those usual things that come with summertime, obviously fluids, if it's hot outside, not, taking frequent water breaks, obviously SPF, a lot of the SPF if you need to be reapplied every, hour and a half around that time period, maybe even less if you're swimming or enjoying other things. So making sure you are seeking shade if you feel like you're getting overheated, or are wearing protective clothing that would protect your skin from sunburn, etc.
So how high SPF should we be going, and what kind of protective clothing should we be wearing?
Well, there's a lot of new technology with clothing. So I would say even bathing suits, a lot of those say 50 plus SPF. I think that's a really strong recommendation, making sure that you're using an SPF and applying it early enough so that it can dry on the skin before entering water, doing other activities. Again, if you're exercising, sweating, all of those things, making sure you're reapplying, but looking for those labels of like sun protection for the skin.
Is it more likely that you'll be susceptible to it in the summertime, being outside and being in the water?
So the thing with COVID is it's a respiratory illness. So the same things apply indoors and outdoors in terms of social distancing. If you're within 6 feet of others outside or inside, you should have a mask on, both individuals. Being outside alone does not put you at risk for getting COVID. And just because you're outside with others, if you're within 6 feet, it doesn't necessarily diminish the risk. Obviously, there's more airflow outside. That would be technically a safer environment than being in a closed room with someone that may be symptomatic. But the masks are really the key still. And even though, we're hoping to go green and move towards that more kind of liberal approach in terms of being able to do more things and do more activities, there is still a risk. So if you don't know the other kind of quarantine type habits of the people that you're going to be around, everyone should be masking and maintaining 6 feet.
So when people are outside and like doing different exercises and little kids are wearing masks, what are your recommendations on that?
Well, if they're just with their family unit and they're not in close proximity, a mask wouldn't be necessary. So, but if you are having the instance where you're going to be in public at stores and other places where you don't know kind of the habits of social distancing or the exposures of other individuals, that's when even with your children, you want to make sure as long as they're over age of 2, that a mask should be worn.
And then, so summertime also comes with camps, and I know camps are happening this summer. They're going to be altered a bit. What would your recommendation be for parents who may not be too keen on sending their children to camps just yet, and any other safety precautions that they could implement into their daily lives for camps?
Yeah, so obviously monitoring of symptoms, So if you're sending your child, even as simple as taking a quick temperature in the morning, monitoring for any new onset of cough, fever, making sure that your hands are your children are well educated about hand hygiene, when's the appropriate time to wash your hands, avoid touching the face, avoid some of those closer contact with other individuals, so if your kids have friends, maybe, talking to them about making sure they keep a healthy distance, maybe avoiding the hugs and the hanging out in some of the normal fashion until we know we're really in the clear for transmission.
Is there anything that I possibly could have missed that's important that you want to get out there?
Yeah, I think really the key point is that we are still having transmission. So in Erie County, we're one of the places in the state that we really do need to kind of hunker down and make sure that if we are having social gatherings of any type, that those high risk individuals are being protected the most. So avoiding large gatherings, anyone over the age of 60, 65 that have underlying health conditions. Again, that's a high-risk population. So if you're having small family gatherings, making sure that those individuals are protected, that everyone's masking, having safe gatherings outside would be okay, where people, sit on a lawn or do a picnic style, not sharing food, utensils, those types of things. So you can still enjoy each other's company, just at a healthy distance until we know that we're pretty safe from having some ongoing community transmission.